Testing. Welcome to the Thick AF podcast, everyone.
Welcome back.
We're here today to talk about our lives and to give you some entertainment.
And get caught up with each other.
Woo-woo. Okay, so we wanted to talk about some pet peeves at work that most every day something happens and someone gets on my nerves at work. And we both work from home, so sometimes those pet peeves are different when you're working from home versus like at the office. So like when you're at the office, you know, a big one I would think is like people bringing tuna fish to work, or like microwaving their salmon in the microwave, or like the printer getting jammed and they're like pissed off because the person just left it or whatever, you know, or like, I don't know.
That's hilarious because when I was like really heavily getting like Home Chef and HelloFresh and stuff like that, I would definitely get salmon and I brought it to work.
Well, say, I think it's not as bad. Like, if you ate it cold, it probably wouldn't stink, but then you put it in the microwave and microwaved fish just, I don't know what it does to it. It just like releases the toxins. There's probably some science behind it that I don't know. I don't know what the science is, but anyway, so I'm going to go and say, I've got a list of pet peeves that I've come up with, and I have more, and I'm sure my friends Rose and Diane have heard all of my pet peeves because I complain to them all the time about the things that people do to me, or they don't do it to me. I mean, they do it at me or around me. And I'm like, seriously? And I'm not going to say any names on who does it, obviously,
Lord, no.
But you're forgiven if you know who you are. So don't get mad at me because you know what? I probably do something that pisses you off as well. All right, so one of my biggest ones, and this isn't really a pet peeve because I still do it, but like, why do we use the sign off thanks for emails when we're not really actually thanking anybody for anything?
Is this opposed to like a sincerely?
Regards or sincerely, yeah. But like also sincerely, if you said sincerely, everybody would think you're from the 1900s. Or like not in the 1800s, excuse me. But and are you really sincere? I don't know. So I don't know, like that and like regards, like I feel like, and then people use best. So it depends. You know, I feel like there's a culture. What are you?
I don't like best.
What does your company use?
Thanks.
Does everybody use thanks?
Well, I mean, it depends. Like if I really want somebody to reply to me like quickly, I'll probably say thanks so much with an exclamation point.
Yeah.
Because I just want to be like extra thankful that you're going to help me. Hopefully in a quick manner.
Yeah. Well, so like I've been at other places where I've worked, places of workplaces, and they've used, the culture is like different and everybody used either like regards or best or something like that. And then I've worked with other companies where they have different sign-offs and they're like, oh, well, this is what, you know, and it's just a culture. And I think it's so weird.
We don't have a standard as far as anything that needs to be used.
Well, not that needs to be used, but just like what people use. And so like one person uses it, like say the CEO uses it. So then everybody else does it because they want to be like the CEO. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that I see some, you know, different things. A lot of it is external, I think, that I notice more than anything. Thankfully, you know, I work for a company where there's rapid, you know, responses because we use Teams and, you know, things like that. So there's not a lot of, I mean, I'm not going to say there's not a lot of, but like the mass majority of my communication is with clients and it's external.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. But don't you think it's weird that you'll be like, thanks, even though you're not asking for anything? Like, hey, here's this stuff. Thanks. Here's all the stuff I did for like you. Thanks.
But what if it's just like a thank you for acknowledging, paying attention, receiving my email?
Okay, well, I can get that, but
like you don't have to ask for something to say thank you. You can be informative. Just thanks for your time.
Okay, well, I guess that makes more sense now. Well, thank you for helping me with that because That has been like, I've been like cringing every time. And I type it myself. I'd be like, type it every single time. Thanks. And I'm like, I'm not thanking anybody, but this is what everybody uses. So I'm going to do it too. Because I am the follower.
What are you going to say? Bye. Don't email me back.
Yes, please don't email me back. Also, don't send me an email that says, okay, I'm going to go to another one.
Okay.
Don't send me an email that says, can you please call me? Please call me when you have a chance. I'm like, I'll look at my phone and be like, did I miss a call from this person? Oh no, I didn't miss a call. I didn't miss anything. That person just is trying to pass the ball to me because they don't want to pick up the phone and call me, and they want it to be like, oh, well, I told you to call me. Oh no, honey, this is your deal. You don't get to tell me to call you for your situation.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
Well, I was not thinking on that same wavelength when you first said that, because I was like, I would much rather somebody like reach out to me and say, can you call me or whatever, than randomly calling me without giving me a heads up as to what this conversation is going to be about. But I see what you're saying. It's not a forewarning that we're about to have a conversation. It's I'm putting the ball in your court because I don't want to pick up the phone and handle this myself.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be I don't get any context behind anything. It's just, please call me. And I'm like, about what? I'm not dropping what I have, what I'm working on right now, to call you for something that I know is may or may not be urgent enough to drop all the other urgent things that I'm working on. So if you want to call me, I'll answer the phone. And if I don't answer the phone, it's because I'm working on maybe something urgent, or I'm on the phone call, and I'll call you back. But let me know what it is that you need to talk about, so that I can triage the stuff that I'm working on. Like,
yeah,
I can't
be
like, yeah. I can't be like,
that's fair.
They're like, please call me. And then they're like, hey, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom or some crap. Yeah. Not that people would ever call me about that. But yeah.
I get that to a point. I guess I do not hesitate to ask. I mean, of course, I've developed relationships with certain people, that are better than others. And I know that I don't really have to like preface if I need something. I just need to say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? I need to, run this by you or whatever. And I'm not explaining myself.
That's different than being like, I need to run this by you. Not like, please call me. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just pick up the phone and call somebody?
Yeah. I mean, I'll ask somebody, hey, do you have a second? Can I call you? Whatever. But I'm definitely not giving like a prep message of, this is what I'm about to call you about, because if I wanted to type it, I would. I obviously want to have a conversation because I'm asking you if I can call you.
I also don't like it when people call me for one thing. So, or like they call me for one thing, or I call them for one thing, and then that person changes the subject and goes off on like 4 or 5 other things. And I'm like just trying to get an answer for the one thing. It should be like a 30-second conversation, 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes at the most. But it ends up being like a 15, 20, 30-minute call about stuff that I didn't call about. And then now my brain is on these 4 other things that you asked me about. And I'm like, I'm out of my flow. I'm confused. And then I have to dig up all this other stuff for these other things. And I'm like, why don't you just set up a meeting? Like, if you need to talk about these other things, I called you so sometimes I like, if I need something from someone and I want to call them, I won't call them because I know that person is going to go off on some 4 other things. That's awful that
you feel like you have to avoid somebody when you truly need help because you know that it is going to be
I'll send them an email
off the
instead.
Rails like conversation.
When it's not off the rails, it's like of other stuff that's happening, but it's like, yeah. So it just like, it's a pet peeve of mine if I call you for one thing and then you, like, it's like one topic.
A misuse of time, really.
Yes, really. Yeah. So I read this thing, and I think it's like in the New York Times or something like that, that there are studies that say that, and I don't know the exact study or what it is, and honestly, I don't even know if it's like legit. I will have to do some more research, so don't call me out. But apparently somewhere there are studies that show that that on average to get back on a task after an interruption, it takes like 25 minutes or something like that, like 23 to 25 minutes to get back on task after an interruption, which is like crazy to me, but it's the truth. Like because then I'm like, okay, I got an interruption, and now I've got to sort through all whatever they said. Hey, I need to do talk about this, and now I'm like focused on something else, and then I see that stuff, and then maybe you go down a rabbit hole on that. Just 25 minutes later, you're like, oh, what was I working on? And then honestly, sometimes I've done that, and I've gone back and I've had to like start over on like some like, some type of like math problem or something, not, calculating things that I've been working on. So that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't know. It sounds like you have like the best work job and nobody does anything bad. And I'm like,
no, I mean,
like we don't have to talk about your job now, but like any other jobs that you've had.
No, I mean, I get that. I think probably, and I mean, it wasn't the worst experience, definitely not in the beginning, but like I worked in a call center a long time ago, and big pet peeve of mine was like, just coworkers like misusing, their time and, accidentally like hanging up on people when it's, their shift is over. Cause we had people coming in at, all different times, like 7, 8, 9, you had people that would work 9 to 6 and stuff like that. And then the call center would close. But, when it was like 4:00 and it was time for somebody to go, sometimes they would just like fake hang up on people. And that was like so disrespectful to everybody else who was like working a different shift and still in the queue. Like, it's unfortunate, but sometimes, I could get a call at, 3:59 when I'm supposed to leave at 4.
What were they calling you about?
This was when I worked for a medical software company. So these were like doctors and nurses and dentists and, things like that.
Calling to get like
calling in
IT help kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they purchased our electronic medical record software. So if they ran into an issue, while they were charting for a patient or something, that patient could be sitting in the room and they're calling us because they're having an issue. We need to be answering the damn phone.
I didn't know you did that. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I really did like the job for sure. Went through a merger acquisition, and then after that, I stuck around for a couple of years, trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that never happened. And at one point, I was managing 31 people by myself in a call center, and I was like, I was on call 24/7. I could not go on vacation, have a weekend. I mean, we had people on call 24/7 because of what we did,
Yeah. So yeah, that's difficult. And I would not now. I mean, I might if I had to, but I would not purposefully take a job where that was going to be my life, where I was going to have to like fake hang up on somebody. But if I needed to be at something, like what if you had a kid? And I mean, honestly, I get that kind of like if they need to plan for that. But
yeah, I mean, and that is life, and it wasn't something that happened all the time. And there were definitely times that we worked with people that had children, and if somebody else was still around and they weren't on a call, then we would transfer that to them and let that person get out of there. I mean, it.
Yeah, but the fake hanging up, that's just messed up.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I mean, we were in our early 20s at that point, like. I mean, it was entry level work, we were making $30,000 a year. Nobody truly gave a shit about that job, most of the people anyways, like
that's sad.
They were,
like
not showing, and that was probably pet peeve for me at the time, especially when I started to manage the group. When you're supposed to be there at a certain time to start and be in a queue. So, there's limited number of people there on off hours. So like if you're a 7 a.m. person, you need to be ass in seat in the queue at 7:00. Not at 7:10, not at 7:15. You're leaving your coworkers hanging at that point.
Yeah. Well, and that's with that's with that job, but that's also with other jobs like nursing jobs. You have to hand off your patients, things like that.
100%.
That's with restaurant jobs.
Right.
That's, my job's not like that because nobody hands their work off to me. If I'm not there, my job doesn't get done.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's something like really urgent or something, and then my boss will probably
that's a tough spot to be in because I think the culture of, the workplace is changing, and there are some companies, that have added more holidays, just not, I don't know if they're considered federal holidays, but, just calendar year holidays. There used to be, I think, probably like 8 for some folks. I think we have something around 11 or 13, crazy like that. And, we have unlimited PTO, but that's not something that everybody can do. And it's not, always encouraged. And I know if what you're saying is it's got to be hard for you to take a vacation, because if you're the only one doing it and no one is covering for you, then you are backed up when you get
Oh
back.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that is definitely it's not fun, but honestly, I kind of like that there's not somebody else doing my job, because the way that my job is done, if I were to pass it off to somebody else, like if we had other people that came in like the next day or in a different shift or something and did my job, it would be all jacked up and nobody would know what was going on, because then you'd have to have a lot of long conversations of like, here's what happened and this is what I did, and just to try to figure it out. So like it's not like we don't have like, I mean, I do have some little things here and there, but like it's not like tasks that I get done. Like you were saying the other day that you're like very task oriented.
Yeah.
My job is, I mean, not necessarily like a task, check it off your list type of job. It's a very ongoing project type of thing. And
yeah. Yeah, I'm just in a different place as far as that goes. I mean, some of my projects I've had for a long time, just because they are bigger projects, what have you. But a general project for my job is 4 to 6 weeks. So it's a very quick turnaround, which I'm used to, because at my old job, our turnaround was about 45, 60 days. So, I mean, it's about the same time frame. A little bit maybe less now, but it's also sometimes way longer now. So, I mean, it just depends. But I mean, I'm literally checking things off a list, like like we have a smart sheets, that has percentages that'll tell us when, if I've marked this 100% complete, this line item, then it tells me I've gotten to like 43% complete of the entire project type thing. So very task oriented.
yeah, that's interesting. It's very different than.
But we can talk about pet peeves. That is the pet peeve I have. That spreadsheet is jacked up and nobody will fix it, and it's so irritating. And if you edit it, because it has all these
all your people are listening, by the way.
Oh my gosh, it has these, well, they may agree with me, they may not, I don't know, my boss knows how I feel, but it has all like these predecessors, and so it's not just a predecessor of like line 28 is dependent on line 27. It could be that 27 and 28 start at the same time, so you have to mark it a certain way, and you have to put like a -1 if it only if it's done same day or whatever, and I'm just like not very good at that. So I feel like I poorly manipulate the spreadsheet, which probably makes things worse.
User error. So basically you hate it because of yourself. So there's probably some smart person out there that created it that's like, you're just doing it wrong. If I could teach you, if you would just understand it, you would love it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There were many times throughout this one project that I have going on right now, and we've had, during my one-on-ones with my boss, which I have every single week, there have been multiple times where he's like, we have to fix your project plan. I'm like, I'm trying. Like, I think I get it fixed. And he's like, no, Sarah. And I'm like, okay.
Yikes. Anyways, do you have any other pet peeves you want to talk about?
I have a pet peeve when people don't respond on Teams in a timely manner. Like,
what do you consider timely?
Same day.
So Teams
depending
meaning
on
like
what time it, like the message. If I send it at 4:55, then no, I don't expect.
So
you
to send like messages.
The same day.
We don't do so.
We message all the time, and that I don't. It's kind of a pet peeve. Like, we have a group message. So, I mean, people are asking questions, and it's It's work conversation. It's not, just la-di-da type whatever. Like, it's legit work conversation, but it goes off all day long sometimes, and it drives me crazy, and I have to mute it because I want to answer, and I want to participate, and I want to go back and look.
That's how I feel about my Facebook Messenger with the supper club. I'm like, what is even happening? I'm still trying to catch up from last Wednesday. Like, hello.
That's just because you're bad at Facebook Messenger. But one time my boss messaged me I messaged him on like a Thursday. It was like the following Tuesday, and he was like, oh, I missed your message from yesterday. And I was like, sir, that was from last week, but thank you for the reply. Like,
oh my God. If I had to add like Teams Messenger or like some type of messenger to all of the ways that I get communication at work, or like another software or something, I might like throw myself into the wall like the Kool-Aid man. I'm like, oh yeah,
oh,
but
yeah.
not, but oh no. I would not. Like, I'm so glad that we don't have that like Teams culture of messaging, because we already have the emails, and then I have a cell phone, so people text me, people call me. It's just too, and then
it's
Zoom.
a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's all we have. So like our meetings are in Teams and stuff like that, but it can be overwhelming sometimes, and that kind of stuff overwhelms me because like you just said, if it takes 25 minutes to refocus, every time I hear that damn ding, I'm like,
Yep.
ugh, this is killing me. Like, it's killing my vibes and everything. And sometimes I have to remove myself. I'm not taking myself out of the chat or anything, but I have to mute it. And then sometimes I'll be like, why didn't I get that message? Oh, wait, I muted them because it was overwhelming, 3 days ago, whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, I can't with that. And it's like, I just want like one way of communication. Like, send me an email and I will get to the email after the one that I had before that. Like,
right.
But that's not how it works. And
No,
I get that.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Just, it would be a lot easier if we didn't have 100 different things. And then people are like, let's get another software to make this process easier. And I'm like, okay, but in order to do that, you have to have somebody that does the work to put it into that software. And like, that takes extra time.
Well, not only that, but to implement it with y'all
right.
too.
Well, the implementation would take would be a short period of time, which would be okay. But then after that, somebody actually has to maintain it and like continue and like put like data entry type stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have time for that. I've already got enough stuff to do. I'm sorry. like, and that's what will like right now there's something that they want to like add something to. And I just have a feeling that because of the way that my job is and because of how I am, all the work would be like put on me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would probably, if they did force me to do that, I would want to be the person that did the work for that, because I feel like this is terrible. I should not say this, but honestly, I feel like somebody else might mess it up. You know what I mean? And that's a terrible way to feel. But
I mean, but I understand that if, you delegate to somebody else and then you're either having to take the time to tell them, what to do. So you attempt to make sure that it gets done right. But then you either have to go two routes. If somebody else has done something, you have to let it live the way that it is and trust that they did it right. Or you have to double back and, check
right.
and make sure. And then you might as well have done it the first damn time yourself anyway.
Right. And it would have been a lot quicker.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like,
It's delegation is a catch-22 for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes I have to like delegate and just be like, don't look at it ever. Don't ever look at it ever again. Just hope that they did it right.
Exactly.
Like, fingers crossed. Let's do like a whole, what do they call it? A Hail Mary?
Yeah, let it live.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, another thing like that I don't like is when you schedule a meeting, or somebody schedules a meeting and there are people that are essential to that meeting, or there's somebody that's like higher than me that the other people are like relying on that person to be there because they don't either trust me or they want that person's opinion, and that person that's essential to that meeting shows up 10-15 minutes late, or the person that you're supposed to have the meeting for is like 10 minutes late. And it's like, okay, now we've got to catch you up on what we just talked about, because we started because I didn't want to waste anybody's time. But now we've got to go back and tell you what we just talked about. And now we're wasting 10 more minutes. And now we're halfway through the meeting and we missed all this stuff. So it's annoying. Show up to your meetings on time. And I've been late to meetings accidentally.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm sorry, but not usually 10 minutes.
No, I don't think I've ever been 10 minutes late to a meeting ever. I really don't. I mean, and there are a handful of times that, yeah, you're right, I've forgotten about a meeting or something else has run over. But I mean, it's very easy to notify somebody that you're going to be running late. Yeah,
very easy. And then also it's like, why do we schedule meetings that we don't need meetings for? I have a lot of people that I work with that are just like, oh, let's get a meeting. And I'm like, why? We don't need a meeting. You're just wasting an hour of my time. And they don't schedule 30-minute calls where I live.
Oh.
Where I work. It's always an hour.
No.
And then 30 minutes of it is spent on talking about something else.
Yeah. I think it's
not.
I'm
over exaggerating a lot of this stuff, probably.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's frustrating.
I mean, there are times where a 30-minute meeting definitely doesn't get it done. Like we had one of those today. Like our managers came up with 3 goals for us, and we had to create 2 personal goals. Well, while they're telling us these goals, of course we have questions, about them. And so not only, are they trying to tell us what these goals are and kind of explain, why they came up with, and, I get all the expectations, what have you. And then, teach us how to literally put them in the system, that we're using.
Yeah, it takes a lot of extra time, yeah.
Well, and more than 30 minutes at one point,
sometimes
there
more
were
than
like
an hour, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, there were like 5 hands raised, and it was, it's one of those tough things where it's like...
Hands raised, do people actually use the raise hand things?
In Teams,
in Teams? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious that they do that.
Well,
I would just be like, unmute, hey.
Well, I like it though, because I don't want to interrupt somebody in the middle of their thought. And I don't do it often, but I did do it today because I didn't want to interrupt the person that was talking. But it also puts you in a queue. So it tells you who raised their hand first and that sort of thing.
Interesting.
Which I do like because, well, I was first.
So that's why you liked it, because you were first.
Well, I mean, I liked it today because I was first, because I got, the opportunity to ask my question. And there were people that did not get the opportunity to ask questions. But I do like it how it queues you up or whatever. Yeah. Because I think that's important. I mean, if you were the first one to come up with a question and you raise your hand first, then you should be called on first. Whatever. Yeah. You ain't first, you're last. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, okay, Ricky Bobby. So what about when somebody, so this happens to me a lot. Somebody like copy CCs or carbon copy, even though that's not even like a thing anymore. Do they still have those little check things? Ch-ch, carbon copy.
Yeah, they still have them.
Where do they use them?
Well, when I moved, the guys who like moved me or whatever, they had to like call into the place
and they used
my
one
credit
of those
card. Well, no, I mean they gave my credit card number, but the paperwork that they completed was carbon copy.
But no, I meant those like things that like yeah, okay, yeah.
No,
but still, carbon copies that's interesting that they still use those, but I guess you don't have I guess you could scan it to your phone. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, in that situation, I mean, they're not, who knows how many movers they have working for them. What are they going to do? Get them all iPads so you can use DocuSign? No. Yes.
It's a green initiative or something.
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think that that's a big investment for a company.
Do you know how much it costs to buy paper for a company? It is so expensive. They could save so much money. Okay, we won't go on that.
No, because not my
paper
pig,
is
not
so
my farm.
expensive.
I literally don't give a shit.
I do.
I mean, I give a shit about paper being expensive and the environment. But I'm just saying, like, I don't care about this moving company right now.
Right. So, okay. So when somebody CCs me on an email and they're like, adding Emily, and I'm like, what does that mean? Adding me for what? Like, and then there's 40-page dissertation email chain that I've got to sort through and figure out what the heck's happening, and I don't even know why they copied me.
I do that sometimes.
Why?
But hear me. Well, okay, Linda, hear me out.
Worst.
Just hear me out, though. I'll do it, but I do. It depends on who I'm adding or whatever. Like if I don't know. I will do that sometimes, but it's very clear in the previous email what the question is.
Is it a 40-page dissertation email?
Not always, but if it is, I will pull whatever I need
with
to.
15 emails copied to it?
Yes, I understand. But I will pull whatever bit that I need the help with and put it to the top.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean,
so this is adding Emily.
Assuming that somebody's going to figure out what is going on in like a 14-day email chain is just fucking ridiculous.
It is rude and it's lazy, and those people should be not able to have jobs.
I'm adding Emily because
right.
Why?
Yeah, and then I'm adding Emily because she can help with this, and then at the bottom, Emily, hey, see below where this and this happened. Or here's a screenshot, or I highlighted below exactly what you need to know, and this is why I added you, and can you please do this?
Absolutely.
Like, do you know how much faster it is for that person? Because do you know how many people that have probably been added to that email since the beginning of it that have had to spend time and extra time to get through it? It's just wasteful.
Replying all after you receive that and being like, what is your question? Or what do you need help with?
Oh, I do. Oh, honey, don't you worry. I'm like, what was needed? Is there a question on this? Like, excuse me, I played dumb. But I am dumb because I'm like, I'm not spending
You're not
all day
dumb. You're
reading
just
through this.
misinformed and uninformed about what's needed,
and
because nobody's being clear.
Is it laziness? Maybe. But is it laziness on my part or their part? Probably both. But honestly, it's more their part.
But why would you make an assumption about what is needed instead of just being straightforward and saying, can you be clear about the information that you're requesting from me?
Exactly.
Because otherwise, let's just be hypothetical and say you make an assumption and they're like, no, that's not what's needed at all. Okay, well, you didn't tell me, so I answered you.
Yeah,
and
you just said
have the
copying
wrong
Emily, so I
answer,
just thought I was supposed to read the email.
And here we are again.
Didn't know I was supposed to do anything.
Ground zero, trying
Right.
to figure out what the hell you need because you didn't tell me the first time.
Exactly. Yep, that's annoying. So many annoying things. Let me see.
She's back to singing, folks. Gotta love it.
Lord have mercy. You know what? So some days I have a lot of these pet peeves happen. And some days, and these pet peeves don't really happen that often. I mean, they do, but I have some other things that really tick me off, but we won't get into those because those are just real bad. So some mornings I wake up and it'll be like first thing in the morning I get an email from the one person that drives me nuts at work, which, not really. There's not really one person, but it'll be like the one thing that really? Did you have to do that at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, start
Or like it was
day.
like they sent it at 7:30, and so it was like the first email in my inbox, and I'm like, oh, for real? And so I have to play that song, Good Day. I think it's called by Nappy Roots. Oh man, it gets me pumped up every time.
Gonna have a good day.
Hey, and ain't nobody gonna die today, or something like that. Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Hey, we're gonna have a good day. Hey, maybe we should. Oh, we can't. I guess we can't because we don't have rights to that music. But maybe we can get rights. Oh, we'll see. I'll see if I can look it up and snap a little thing in there.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's a good song. If you guys want to listen to it.
Well, now that we've talked about our pet peeves at work, can we just talk about the pros and cons of working from home?
We can.
Okay.
All right. Do you have a pro?
Yeah, being at home. Not having a commute in the morning, which, I mean, when I changed jobs, I didn't have a commute anyways because I was, like, my office had moved from where it was originally down to, like, 1.4 miles from my house. So, like, it was great, but not having a commute, being able to eat my meals at home and not have to, like, go through the meal prep situation.
And bring tuna to work and piss everybody off.
Listen, I am not a tuna girl, so
Me either.
I might break the rules, but at least it's salmon and not tuna.
Yeah.
But I like being at home with my dog, like, and taking her out during the day and like getting some fresh air, because sometimes when I work from home, like today was balls to the wall. It was ridiculous. Jolene was not home today. She was at my parents, her grandparents' house having some fun, and
Jolene is her dog.
Yeah, sorry. Jolene is my dog, not my child. My dog. But I didn't leave the house today until I came over here.
I haven't left the house all week. What are you talking about? Have I?
Well, it's only Tuesday.
Oh, today's Tuesday, but I still haven't left. Honestly, sometimes I'll be like, I never drive either. So, like...
No, you don't. And I'm picking your ass up on Thursday for supper club.
What did Pete say the other day? He said something about, he was like, he was like, the only reason your car ever leaves your carport is to take your dogs to the vet. And I was like, yeah, that's about right. Like, on an emergency vet trip.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's
Had
so
two of
crazy.
those recently. So.
Yes. Bless them.
Yeah, so working from, that and saving on gas.
Yes, saving on gas is wonderful.
Yeah, because I used to, like, before I lived here, I'm not driving and taking 45 minutes to drive to downtown Birmingham to go in
that's why
5 miles.
That's why I used to work so early. I used to I worked 7 to 4 because I wanted to leave my house at 6:30 and be there by 7.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that. You would think that the traffic would be worse, but it's not. I don't know. But yeah, so I used to walk to work. I would walk 2 blocks. I think it was 2.5 blocks to work because I got an apartment. I got my job, and then I was like, oh, this is where I'm going to be working. Okay, I'm getting an an apartment 2 blocks away.
I like that.
Yeah, and I never drove then either. Only time I drove was like to the grocery store. But honestly, the Publix was like across the street.
Have you
basically.
forgotten how to drive?
No, I can still drive.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike for the most part. Just don't do it when you're drinking. For
There
both
are
of
no
those.
training wheels on your car though. Like it's for real.
Yeah, that's no training wheels. But also, you can still crash with training wheels on your tricycle or whatever. But yeah, work doing that, and then like being able to wear like comfortable clothes.
Yeah.
But that also comes with a con because maybe you like think you can eat more than you can.
Oh,
And
100,000%.
your stretchy leggings, and then you're
that,
like,
and then when you get excited about going to like, I don't know, supper club, and you want to wear like an outfit, and you're like, oh shit, like I got fat. This week I'm fat.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, you know what? I have nothing to wear so when I do the Stitch Fix boxes, and I swear to God, they only send me like comfortable clothes, and I always keep them, and that's why they keep sending them to me. And I'm like, I hate you guys, but then I can't anymore. I need to start wearing like regular clothes, but they're not comfortable. Why would anybody want to wear anything other than leggings ever?
Listen, leggings and joggers are what I live in. I hate wearing jeans during the summer. I wear dresses.
Why does anybody like wearing jeans ever?
I don't know.
They're not comfortable.
I don't know. I'm not a jeans girl. Like,
No.
You're not gonna, catch me out in a pair of jeans and be like,
Catch me outside. How about
yeah,
that?
I was gonna say that. But no, you're not gonna catch me outside in a pair of jeans and be like, I love these jeans. It ain't gonna happen.
No.
I put jeans on the other night and I was like, what? I forgot. I hate this.
Well, what's worse, in my opinion, is like dress pants that I used to wear to work. With the buttons and like they don't stretch, and I'm like, why did I ever buy these? Like they were real cute, and like the like wide leg, and they look cute with like the heels. And I don't freaking wear heels ever anymore. Look, I stopped wearing heels a long time ago, but like I used to wear them every day, and they look so cute.
Real hard to find pull-on business pants, and I have found a bunch before when I was working
like
in an
stretchy
office.
ones.
Yeah, girl,
I was like,
with
don't you pull on your other
everything.
ones too?
No, but like they don't have a button like a zip
Okay.
front. Yeah, they're literally pull on.
Ew, I have some too, but I feel like the crotch sometimes like looks weird.
No,
You don't think they do?
mine I love.
Well, you need to
I
tell
have
me,
several
where'd you get them
pairs.
from?
I got them from
Torrid?
Torrid. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not always a big fan of Torrid's clothes, but I know you love them, and they
I
do
do.
look good on you. So I don't know.
I mean, that's the majority of what's in my closet is from Torrid. 100%.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to try them.
You should.
Yeah,
Give it a go again.
but honestly, why would I buy them if I don't need to wear them? But I do have to go to work like in February for 3 days. I have to go. I know.
3 whole
I have to go do these like,
days.
or we're doing a
What?
bid, and I have to go like do these walkthroughs with the vendors to show them the hospital and like the facilities for yeah. I don't know if my pants are gonna fit. I'll probably wear a dress.
Why not?
Yeah, dress.
You
will
got
be
all
better.
the black dresses in the world.
Yeah, that's true. I have lots of things I can wear. So okay, so what about a con? You got any cons? No.
No, I do. I mean, there are days like today where like I really didn't allow myself to step away because I didn't really have a reason to. Jolene was not home, so I didn't have a dog to take outside, and I made, I had food essentially cooked already, so like a meal prep type situation. So like I just heated up food and got back to work and did not take very many breaks. I stood up a couple times on my desk today because I had just been sitting for so long. But I would say, not a con is not having like a for real start and stop time, because when you're at the office, you're trying to get out of there at whatever time, it is that you leave. But when you're at home, you're working, and you may work well beyond your time, work through your lunch, start before, you should, because you're awake and you're at home and it's accessible.
See, that's not really different for me. I used to work late at work too, and I would not work. I would work through lunch. That hasn't really changed much for me, but I get what you're saying. Like there is not like a
There's
cutoff
no-
point
There's
because
not.
and there's not a separation. So like I have this office and like I have my little like Peloton / Nordic track thing in here, and I need to put it somewhere else because when I'm done with work, I want to get out of this room and shut the door and be
Yeah.
like, I am done with work. But then I need to come in here and work out, and
Right.
then I will see my computer and be like, maybe I should look at the email.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that. I get what you're saying though about the separation, because my office, I was in a 1-bedroom apartment before now, and my office was in my living room, right next to my TV, basically, like in a corner. And so like I stared at my desk when I would watch TV after work, and it was awful. But I think the one thing that I miss that is a con about an office is like the opportunity for water cooler talk and that FaceTime with your coworkers. Like I do miss that. Like I finally got to meet, all my coworkers when we had our holiday party in December, but like I don't get to see these people on a regular basis. And so like you said, when you're on calls and people try to have like conversation that you weren't exactly planning on. I mean, I think that happens a lot for me because we try to catch up with
I
each
do that,
other.
yeah, in the beginning,
and, and just kind of see what's been going on, whatever, because we don't get that FaceTime in person. And
Right.
I miss that a little bit, for sure. I'm a social butterfly. Like,
Yeah.
I like to, chit chat, and I would rather have like 4 different times of like random conversations with coworkers at work than I would have a lunch hour. Like that fulfills me more.
Yeah.
I have no problem eating.
Well,
my
that's a
lunch at my
pro.
desk.
That's a con for you, but it's a pro for the company because that means that you're working more than you would be in the office because now you're not chit chatting with everybody. Like honestly, for if I wanted to go get coffee or a drink or something at the hospital, I would have to. The buildings are miles
huge.
apart,
Right?
and you have to walk through all the crosswalks and all the things, and it's just like you're basically on the other side of the city by the time you get to the Starbucks.
Right.
So
that makes sense. It's something I didn't think about because I've never really worked at a company that's that big.
yeah, so it was like 15-minute walk to
Right.
get there, and then 15 minutes back. That's 30 minutes just to go get coffee.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's not 15 minutes. It's probably 20 minutes.
That's a very different way to think about things. So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so that and then
So they're getting more time out of you by having you at home as well.
oh yeah, they're also getting me to pay for my internet and all of
Yep.
my not all my equipment, but like I had to buy my own desk. I had
Yep.
had to buy my own everything. That sucks. I tried to get them to pay for it, and then it was a whole thing.
They gave us a stipend, and I did buy my desk chair with it, and it's an okay desk chair. Like it's better than what I had before.
Well, have you seen mine?
You
I
just
love
need to reupholster
my
again.
Eric was so my older brother was going to buy me a chair for my birthday, and my
You
mom
told him
was,
no?
No, my mom told him no. Emily likes her chair because I
Karen!
do. I like that it's not on wheels because
Yeah.
I don't like to be because I sit with both of my feet up on the chair, or I put them on that speaker thing down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, the pros and cons. Trying to think of another pro.
For working from home.
Yes.
I mean, I think, I say I miss water cooler talk, but I also think that there's a lot less drama. When you were and I don't know if you've ever had this experience before, but when you're in an office, people are wondering what you're doing all the time. What time she's coming in.
Why did she
leaving.
leave 10 minutes early and I didn't get
Yes.
to?
100%.
Because I had a doctor's
Like,
appointment?
well,
Are
like
you
when
going to log my
yeah.
schedule?
And we're grown women. Like, you don't need to know what I'm doing all the time. If I get up from my chair, you don't need to ask me where I'm going. I'm going pee. Leave me alone, Linda.
Right, exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
fine.
annoying.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that there's a lack of interpersonal drama, when you're not in an office setting like that, because people aren't in your business all the time.
Yeah, that's
but
nice.
I also think that there could be things that could be done to get rid of that, and that has to do with company culture. Like, I don't ever feel like I'm being micromanaged or that I can't like appear away because I've been away from my computer, and somebody is like going to be up my ass about where I am and what I'm doing. And that I'm grateful for, because that is not something that I had before. And I mean, it was just all the time, like personal, like texting me on my phone. That company did not pay for my phone. Do not text me after hours. Don't do that. I don't have a, on-call type job.
Right.
Don't
That's so
do
funny
that.
because people had my old, like they used to have when we first started working remote, we didn't get cell phones yet. So I gave people my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number, and people started giving it out like to vendors and things like that. And I would get calls. And so this happened recently, and I was like, somebody gave my personal cell phone number out, and I sent it back, and I was like, hey, that's my personal cell phone. Here's my work number. And then the lady that did it, we're cool, and she didn't mean to. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I'll start giving out your work number. But like, yeah, no, don't, especially like.
The worst culprit was my old boss. He would like want to like call, because he lived in Nashville, and he would come down to Birmingham, almost every week for a couple of days. But then like when he gets on the road or whatever to go home, he wants to like call and talk about work. No, bro, Chacho, call your wife. Call somebody else.
Oh, that's weird.
Yes, don't call me to talk about work because you're bored on your drive home.
Yeah, that's odd. That's a very strange thing.
It was very unhealthy and toxic at the end, and a lot of people left around the same time that I did.
Yikes. Yeah, no. Maybe he started calling them when you were like, I gotta go. Sorry, supper club tonight.
I mean, and I'm one of those people that's like super, I don't know, I can't not answer the phone sometimes, like work or friends or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just a thing that I have. Like, I feel like if somebody's calling me, it's for a reason, and I should answer the phone.
Right. Yeah, see, I'm not that way.
I know.
If somebody calls me and I don't want to answer it, I'm not going to. What? I mean, I feel bad. Like,
I was waiting for
my
you
mom
to not answer after I got done with my haircut tonight, and then you were not going to get dinner.
I never don't answer for you unless I'm like downstairs or something, like, and my phone's upstairs or my phone's on silent. Which my phone goes on do not. It's already on do not disturb. It's been on do not. It goes on at 9. It might actually be 8:30. My mom already knows, and so she'll call me like 4 times in a row, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm asleep. Like, hello. She actually goes to sleep earlier than I do now. She used to be a very big night owl. But yeah, other pros and cons. I really, really like if I need to go to a doctor's appointment or if I need to go run an errand, I'm not having to get out. So this may be different for other people, but where I worked, you have to like park in a parking lot that's like you have to take a shuttle to, or you have to walk to a parking deck, which I had to walk home 2 blocks because I didn't opt in to like park.
Yeah.
I just parked at my place. But now if I did work on site, I would have to park somewhere, and I would probably have to shuttle, and that takes like however long. Right. And so you can't just like 5:00 leave and be on the way home.
But like what you started to say was a doctor's appointment. Like it's a trek for you. So like you're not just quickly walking out to your car and making your way to a set appointment.
Well, I did work in the hospital where the doctors were. So like if I did have a doctor's appointment before, I could just like, I was like at work and I didn't have to go like, unless it was somewhere else. But most of my stuff was at the same place. So that was nice. But yeah.
I mean, I think that there's going to be
running an errand.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and I don't run errands during the day for the most part. I would say the biggest errand that I run is either picking up or dropping off Jolene during like my lunch hour at my parents' house, and that happens, occasionally. Mm-hmm. But if I have to do something after work or whatever, then I do try to take her when I have a break during the day.
Yeah, usually my stuff is like stuff that has to be done by like 6:00, like dropping off a package or something at like UPS.
UPS, you need to stay open until 7:00.
Yeah, they need to stay, because you can't get from work to UPS in an hour because of the traffic. So you have to go during your lunch break.
Right.
But then it takes your whole lunch break, so then you don't get to eat lunch. You got to sit at your desk and eat. And then everybody's pissed off at you because you ate tuna. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I do like to be able to be with my dogs. I don't know. I don't know what I don't like. I feel like I still am fulfilled with my like relationships with work, even though, because I also am friends with like some of the people that I work with outside of
that's
work.
true. And I mean, I haven't been I will have been at my job, you know, in April for a year. So I'm still like developing friendships, you know, with those folks. And, you know, I won't get to see them all the time, but I think that my company is, you know, making progress towards allowing us to have in-person time a little bit more often instead of, you know, just twice a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see how that works out. But, I mean, overall, would I trade... first of all, I would never give up this job if I, you know, don't have to. I love it. I love the people. I love the culture. I love the company. But working from home, I think it can just be a little difficult sometimes for me as a social person. And I think nights like this, like, you know, recording, like, I needed this outing. I was by myself last night because I took Jolene to my parents' house. Brandon worked late, and so, like, I needed some human interaction.
So do you feel like you're like, oh, I want to go hang out with people? Do you feel that? Like, this is kind of weird.
I think it depends on what's, like, happened. Like, I felt like I had been at home for a long time. Like, I was at home all weekend. Granted, you know, we had some outings or whatever, but I mean, we barely left the house on Sunday. It was raining, and, you know, we just took Jolene outside. I didn't see my parents yesterday when I took Jolene out there because they weren't home yet. And Victoria came to my house, and, you know, we chatted for a little while last night, but I hadn't, like, left my damn house for real. And I was like, I need to go sit in another environment.
But it makes you feel, but you feel like you're like, I need to, so let me try to get on what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel when I'm at home by myself all day and for a while, I get to the point where I'm like, if I have to go see somebody, it makes me feel like it's going to be miserable. No. But I know that I'm an extrovert and I need that interaction. I just don't want to go do it. It's like going to the gym or something. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be, people are going to make me exhausted. Oh, just thinking about that is making me exhausted. But like, I know that I need it, but like, I don't want it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I'm the total opposite. When I have been at my house for like a really long time, you know, by myself or whatever, then I'm like craving human interaction for real.
See, I don't. I'm like, love being by myself. I need to be by myself more. But maybe it's because I have a lot of phone calls and things like that for work.
Well, and I have a lot of phone calls too, but I wonder if it's because your work days are a little bit more stressful and not as pleasurable.
Probably. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play that Nappy Root song a little bit longer next time. That's probably true. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
it is. It's sometimes I get, and I'll be like done, and I'll be like, I'm just mentally exhausted from the day because, you know, back-to-back meetings, and then you're trying to get the stuff done, and then you have 400 emails, and then you're just like, it's 5:00, and I wanted to take a nap at noon, but I couldn't because, like, obviously I'm working. But I get mentally exhausted sometimes and really need, but like I get re-energized when I do go out, like supper club on Thursday. I will probably be like, woo, let's go party all night. Like, and then everybody's going to be like, is Emily on cocaine? And I'm going to be like, maybe. Just kidding. I've never done cocaine before.
Exactly.
I promise.
Except you're not. You're just getting out of your introvert bubble out into the world, and so you're going kind of bonkers.
Right. Like it's okay.
Your energy's on high.
Right. So it's like when I was in the junior league, when I lived in Auburn, we would have these moms, the stay-at-home moms that were like with little kids all day long, and they didn't do anything. They were with their kids, or their kids went to school or whatever all day long, and then they would come to their one day a week or once a month junior league thing, and they would be like talk chatter all night, and they loved it. And we were like, we've been talking all day. We've been talking for the past month all day, and we don't want to talk to anybody else. But they were like, I never get any human interaction or like adult interaction. And so that's kind of how I feel. I remember when I first moved into this place, my neighbor, she was out there, and I felt like she would come outside, and I would be out with the dogs, and I was always chatting with her. And I finally told her, I was like, look, if I'm talking a lot, it's because I've been working from home, and I've literally had no interaction with a human today, and it's really nice. And she was like, it's okay, me too. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. So anyway, any other pros and cons?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not today. All right. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. Thanks for coming over tonight, Sarah.
Oh,
And
you're
staying a little bit
welcome.
longer. I know you wanted to leave earlier, but I'm
I'm
really
the
glad we
night-night
did this.
queen.
This is actually very nice.
I know. I've had a good time. Thank you for having me.
All right, so go out on Instagram and iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and follow us, subscribe, like us, give us those hearts on the Insta.
Thick AF Podcast on Instagram and thickafpodcast@gmail.com. We have gotten a few emails about some FMKs, so keep those coming.
Share our Instagram, share this podcast with your friends and your family. We love you guys.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I have to go.